Hey cats, what's happening? Come on in. No, you're not interrupting anything. Just taking some time to read my Bible. I can I need my reading glasses to read, but I can't see anything else when I'm wearing them. They're only for close-up stuff. How many of you guys actually have read the Bible? No, no, I'm not talking about reading the whole Bible from cover to cover either. Perhaps you have, but have you even ever picked up the Bible and read any of it? Even read a couple verses or anything? There's not many people that can say they have. People, but yeah, I mean, there's probably a Bible in every house. I'm gonna guess. Maybe a few of you don't have Bibles, but in this house, there's a number of them. If you look around, there's a Bible everywhere. That doesn't mean that I read them as much as I probably should. But I have started, studying more into the Bible and spending more time reading it. The Bible is an interesting book, and more than just a book, it is a historical account. And all the history in the Bible is historically accurate, proven to be accurate. So that's very interesting in itself. The other thing that the Bible has provided are what we call prophecies, or the telling of the future. And if you'll study the prophecies in the Bible, there's many of the prophecies that have already come around to fruition. So it's more than just a book. It is way more than just a book. But it's interesting that, as we go through our lives every day, we don't even think about spending any time reading this. It's probably the most important book out of all the books in all the libraries in all the world, and yet people tend to ignore it. It used to be that every time you went to a hotel or a motel, you'd open the bedside drawer and open it up, and there'd be a Bible in there, the Gideon Bible. Just a little book, I think it was the New Testament or something. I'm not sure that they do that so much anymore. I mean, some of the last hotels I stayed in, there was no Bible anywhere to be seen. So it's kind of falling away as a thing of the past. And believe it or not, I even have a Bible in my Harley in the tool bag up on the windshield there. I have a little biker's Bible that I carry with me. Now you'll say, it's too hard to read all those these and thous and all that stuff, Well, there's hundreds of different versions. They all say the exact same thing, but they're written in easy to understand English too. So there's no excuse to not read it, unless you can't read, but I think most of us know how to read to some degree. The other thing is, if you have trouble reading nowadays with the technology, you can go online and get these audio Bibles where, it'll actually scroll the scripture as it goes by, and it'll narrate. You'll hear somebody reading the scripture for you. So, I mean, you could even listen to that in your car, or, I like to listen to it in the evening before I go to bed and do a chapter or two. But I'm finding that it's interesting in more ways than one. One thing that I've realized from reading the scriptures are that, people that the stories about people in the Bible, uh, you tend to think it's all about holier than thou. These people were a lot like you and I, and we're not that holy. I mean, there was a lot of things going on in the Bible. There's stories from every end of the spectrum. Everything from murder to sex to scandal. It's just incredible, and it just brings us to realize that we're all human. You may have noticed in some of my more recent videos that I seem to be, I don't know, you would claim religious. I don't call it religious at all. I call religion is more the legalism, the church, all the rules and all that you have to follow. For me, it's more of a spiritual thing, my connection with God. Since I lost my wife, I've had to learn how to live here by myself. And that comes with a lot of trials and tribulations. I mean, there's a lot of emotional healing that has to be done. It's not easy to adjust to living by yourself when you're used to having somebody with you all the time. I mean, it's a big change. It's a big change for me. And without anybody here to talk to, anybody here to, help me get through this, I've turned my eyes towards the Lord. And, the Bible tells us that we can communicate to God through Jesus Christ. And so we do that by prayer. And so I have started praying a lot more than I ever have in my life. And because of that, it's I don't know, there's changes that have happened with me. I have more of a, I guess, loving spirit. I've been able to forgive things, and these burdens are lifted off my shoulders. I don't have to worry about them anymore. I mean, so many things that have improved my life that I feel that there's a big benefit to it. And it's not difficult at all. I mean, you say, I'd have to quit drinking, I'd have to quit smoking, I'd have to quit, chasing women and all this other stuff. It doesn't work that way, because the more focus I put on God, the less I have feelings for those things. The need for alcohol kind of falls away, and it becomes not important in my life anymore. All the other stuff just tends to slowly drop away like shedding, like these leaves are shedding their leaves. That's how God changes us, and how He cleanses us and removes all of the old and brings a new life. Now back to the Bible. There's a lot of prophecies in there that tell about the future to come. And we're starting to see some of those things come about now. And it's important that we prepare for the future. I've talked about that before, preparing for, what's going to happen to this country. What happens if everything collapses? What happens if you can't get fuel anymore and you can't drive your vehicles? What happens if you go to the grocery store and there's nothing on the shelves anymore? How do you prepare? What do you do? Well, there's only so much you can prepare for that. I mean, people have built like underground bunkers and stocked them full of food and supplies and everything. And then, like 25 years later, they find this bunker in an abandoned house, or a house that went up for sale. And all this stuff's moldy, rotten down there, damp, musty, and it went to waste. It was never used. it was stockpiled up, and it was just a waste of time. But I think the most important thing that we can do to prepare for the future is to get ourselves straight, and to get ourselves straight with God. And it's not hard to do. I mean, I think guilt is the biggest thing that keeps us from God. We don't want to look to God because we say, he doesn't want to look at me. He doesn't want to talk to me because I got too much dirt in my past. All the things that I've been through, all the things that I'm still doing, he doesn't want nothing to do with me. Well, there's no sense in feeling ashamed or guilty because God knows everything about us. He knows everything about you. He knows everything you've ever done, anything you probably will do, and you're not hiding any secrets from God. So, there you go. You just have to accept him and believe in him. It's just that simple. And, speak to him through Jesus, and he'll hear your prayers, and he'll turn your life around. All of that pain, all of that those burdens you carry can be lifted. As for the Bible, it becomes a wonderful guide for us, where we can have a resource to go to learn more. And perhaps you're confused and you it doesn't make sense to you, or you're not quite sure. Pick up that book and just start reading a little bit of it, and pretty soon those words will start to sink in and you'll start to understand. That's why it's there. It's a resource for us, and it's probably the most important book that you'll ever read in your entire life. Well, cats, thanks for watching. I appreciate your attention today. I don't mean to preach at you. I'm no preacher. I'm no minister. But I do like to share my life and what's going on in my life, and I'm not trying to hide anything or pretend to be somebody I'm not. I want to be as real with you as I possibly can. Know that I continue to keep all of you in my prayers. And you know what I like to say, for those of you who don't care and don't want to be prayed for, I still pray for you anyways. I probably pray for you more than I pray for anybody else. And I know that Jesus answers my prayers, because he has answered my prayers. When I look around at all the blessings I have around here, I think, how could he have not answered my prayers? Because I'm abundantly blessed in my life. Well, thanks for watching. If you like my video, hit me with a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And hey, I'll catch you all later.